All right, we are going to go ahead and do our review for the Chapter 12 test. I'm going to give you one of each of the types of problems that are going to be on your test, and you will be able to stop the video, do the problem, and then come back on and unpause the video and see if you got it right. I'll walk through each of the problems. This way, when you take the Chapter 12 test, you will have heard each of the set of directions for each of your questions, and you will have done a very similar problem to each one of the questions on your test. So you should be very ready. It should give you a great idea today of how much and which type of problem that you are struggling on, if any, that you need to study for the quiz. So let's go ahead and get started. The first problem I'm going to give you is going to be (400) times 6/10. All right, what is the product of, product means multiply, what is the product of 400 times 6/10? All right, pause your video and go ahead and do that problem. All right, let's work out this problem. So you're going to multiply this problem. I'm going to stack it up on top of each other. Remember, when you multiply, you do not need to stack decimals on top of each other. You can just go ahead and do this. Oh, I lost the rest of mine. You can just go ahead and do this without stacking decimals. Stacking decimals is only for addition and subtraction. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. 6 times 0 is going to be 0. 6 times 0 is going to be 0. 6 times 4 is 24. All right, now you can go over here to the 0, but it's not really necessary to go to the next line and to have 0 times 0, 0, 0 times 0, 0, 0 times 4 is 0. You don't need to do that. When you have a 0 down here, you can skip it. All right, so our answer being 2,400, but you know when you're multiplying decimals, the second step after you have multiplied it is to go back and look and see how many places past the decimal point there are. You've got one right here. So we need to take the decimal from where it's currently at, and you're going to need to move it over one spot. So now it goes right here. So your answer for what is the product of 400 times 6/10 is 240. If you got that answer, you did it correctly. Okay, let's move on to number 2. Number 2, we simply have a direction of multiply. And let's take an example of something like this. All right, go ahead and pause. Do that on your own and come back once you are finished. Okay, so hopefully you took 6 times 5 and you got 30. And then you took 6 times 0 and got 0. Plus 3 is 3. 6 times 0 is 0. Then in order to get over here to this 4 right here, we need to put our 0, the hero placeholder in, right? He's the hero that keeps that spot, and we move over to the next place value. We've got 4 times 5 is 20. Let's cross this out so we don't get confused. 4 times 0 is 0, plus this 2 is going to be 2. 4 times 0 is 0. All right, let's add this up. All right, now the only thing left to do after we multiply is to count up the places past the decimal that are in our factors. We have 1, 2, 3 places past the decimal. So we're going to want to take the decimal point from where it currently is, which is right here in a whole number, and we're going to want to move it the same amount, 3 spots over. 1, 2, 3 spots. Now it goes here. So our answer is going to be either 230 thousandths, or is this 0 really necessary here? It really is not. It's not holding a place, nor is it giving any value to the decimal. So I would accept 230 thousandths, or I would also accept 23 hundredths. Either of those answers, if you got them, are correct. Okay, let's move on to number 3. Number 3, the directions you've seen now in several of your assignments, so I don't want it to confuse you when you get to your test, and you have an instruction that says simplify using the order of operations. And you will see a similar question to, I'm just gonna try and make up one that would probably work here. Let's do 3.8 minus 2/10 times 4/10 plus 2.7. Okay, and when this says simplify just means get your answer. Simplify this big long equation into a simple answer. And it will say simplify using the order of operations. It shouldn't even have to say that because you know that you always use the order of operations, but it's saying that to kind of remind you not to just necessarily go in order. You're not just necessarily going to start here and take 3.8 minus 2/10 minus, multiplied by 4/10 plus 2 7/10. You're not going to do that. It doesn't go in order from left to right. Remember, PEMDAS. PEMDAS says parentheses first, which we don't have any. Exponents, we don't have any. Multiplication and division from left to right first before you do any subtraction or addition. So you can see that we are going to start here with this multiplication because that's what's first. So we're going to take this first. All right, 2/10 times 4/10. Remember, when we are multiplying decimals, you can completely get rid of the decimals and just do it as if you had no decimals. So 4 times 2 is 8. All right, now what you've got to do is take, there's 1, 2 spots past the decimal. So take this decimal, move it once, twice over. All right, so 8 hundredths is the answer to this section, but we've got to move the rest down. We've still got this 3.8 and we've still got this 2.7. All right, now we've just got subtraction and addition, so we can go from left to right. So we're going to start by taking 3 8/10 minus 8 hundredths. All right, let's find a spot to do that. Let's do that right over here in the corner, 3.8. Now remember, when you are adding and subtracting decimals, you have to line the decimals up. And after you line the decimals up, you add zeros where there are none so that you have a nice, neat problem. 0 minus 8. You can't do that. Let's borrow. You end up with an answer of 3 72 hundredths. Bring down this rest of the problem still. You're adding 2 7/10. So let's do the rest of this over here. 3 72 hundredths plus 2 7/10. Notice how I lined up my decimals. I didn't scooch this all the way to the right. These decimals right here have to be in a straight line. Let's add our 0. Okay, now we're just going to add. And our answer should be 6 42 hundredths. All right, these are multiple step problems. When it says simplify using the order of operations, remember your order of operations, parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division from left to right, And then once you do that, bring the rest down and then do your subtraction and your addition from left to right. Okay, hopefully you got this answer right here. You'll see one of those exactly like that with different numbers on your test. All right, let's keep going. Let's do number 4. Number 4 is simply a find the product. Again, you know that product means multiplication. So if you had a find the product that said 345 thousandths times 2. All right, this is just simple multiplication, and then you are going to add in the decimal point. So this is going to be 10. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 2 times 3 is 6. All right, and 2 times 0 is 0. But then we look and see we've got 1, 2, 3 places past the decimal. We take the decimal that was here and move it 1, 2, 3. It now goes there. So our new answer is either 690 thousandths, or you don't really need that 0. It gives us no value and it doesn't hold a place. So you could also, and probably more appropriately, say 69 hundredths. All right. Let's do a next problem. Okay. Let's do another let's see here. Let's do another simplify using the order of operations. I want to make sure you all know that. So let me give you one more of those to try. Let's take 3 86 hundredths minus 21 hundredths times 1.18 tenths. Okay, let's do this one. Simplify using the order of operations. Okay, pause your video, get out a sheet of paper, see if you can do that and find the correct answer. Okay, hopefully you're back with an answer. So we have no parentheses, that's first. Exponents, there's no exponents. Multiplication or division from left to right. Okay, look, we do have multiplication. So we're going to do this multiplication problem first. All right, so we're going to do that separately over here. We're going to take 21 hundredths times 1.8. All right, again, look, I didn't have to line up my decimals. I'm just going to do it like this. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 0 is 0. Plus 1 is 1. I'm going to hold my spot. I'm going to creep into my problem here. All right, hold my spot. I'm going to do 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 0 is 0. All right. And we've got 8, 7, 3. Okay. So I'm going to rewrite that over here so I don't get into my problem. 378. But let's count our decimal places. 1, 2, 3 decimal places. I'm going to take it from here and go 1, 2, 3 decimal places. So our answer is going to be 378 thousandths. Just for this section, don't make the mistake of ending there and putting that as your answer. Remember, you've still got this other part of the problem that you need to bring down here. That we just answered this section, but we still have 3 86 hundredths minus 378 thousandths. Okay, so let's do that part over here. 3 86 hundredths minus, okay, addition and subtraction. You must line up the decimal points. And then add zeros for any missing spots. All right, now we can do this. 0 minus 8, we can't do that. We're gonna borrow. 5 times 7, we can't do that either. We have to borrow. 7 minus 3, and 3 minus 0. Okay, 3 482 thousandths. Hopefully that is the answer that you got